Hi, friends. Welcome to the PA podcast. Thank you for your patience as we took a hiatus for personal reasons. I am your host, Nadia, and today we have.
Co-host Caitlin, and I'm here to share some information about our legislative trip to Tallahassee and pop in from time to time with information and updates,
Yes. Kaylin is part of the Government Relations Committees.
which I decided to join after going up to Tallahassee and getting so involved and mentioning to Christy how excited I was to join. And she responded, as if you had a choice, sweetheart, as if you had a choice. So,
Yeah.
one more thing, and it's great, and I love it, and I'm happy to be here.
Yes. Yes. So we have a lot of updates on what's been happening in Tallahassee this past week. There's a lot of bills that have gone up that are definitely against educators and anybody involved in public education. Because it's not just education in general, because it's not including charter schools or private schools. It's targeted towards public schools.
And public workers,
Exactly.
like our nurses, our bus drivers, our custodial workers, our cafeteria workers. It's
Linemen,
our linemen, our electricians.
any public works reason. Yeah. So any public work specifically, which is crazy. So let's start with talking about Senate Bill 1296.
Which is kind of what we just mentioned. It's literally, of course, they're not calling it a union busting bill, but that really is what it is. They're trying to make it harder for us and our brothers and sisters in all of those public workspaces to bargain for themselves and to, be able to stand up and advocate for their raises, for a safe working environment, all these things that we try so hard to get for our colleagues or employees.
I mean, now the current bills that are on are already hard enough because they're saying that as unions, we have to have 60% membership in order to establish the union. And that's why us as PEA, we have to have elections every year because we're not at 60% in any of our contracts. So how is this bill different or worse than what we already have in place?
So it's just adding an extra layer of difficulty for us. And it's saying that we now have to have a 50% plus one vote for our union to even be considered and to keep our unions in
So,
place.
so that means that 50% of our bargaining unit, whether you're a member of the union or not, have to vote.
Yes.
And those votes has to be 50% plus one saying yes, they want to keep the union. So, and what that means is that if 50% plus one of our bargaining units do not vote,
They're counted as a no.
they count it as, oh, okay. So that means that if they don't vote, is a no. And that means that PEA goes away.
Correct.
And you will no longer have contracts through PEA. That's what that means.
But Senator Martin said that the school boards could do contracts with every person individually.
Yes.
Okay, so that means that 9,000 people in Polk County public schools, we have to negotiate their own contract with the board. I would like to see how long those board meetings are going to be.
Hey, I would just like to see Superintendent Hyde's face when he realizes he has to meet with every person to negotiate salaries.
That will definitely be interesting. So, okay. So, again, just to summarize Senate Bill 1296, if it goes through, which will definitely continue updating you on where they're at in the process, if they go through, it means that 50% plus one of 9,000 plus people in our district that we bargained for have to vote. They have to vote yes so that the teachers, paras, and ESPs that have contracts keep the contract. And if not, then that means that your vote is a no and your contract goes away. So that means if you enjoy your contract, you're going to contact your senator, contact your legislator person representative that is up there, and we will put the link in the notes so that you could click on it and let them know that this is a bill that is not helpful for you. If you don't like your contract, then don't do anything. But if you like your contract, then email your legislature. Okay, which one is the next one that you want to speak about?
The next is Senate Bill 7036, which in short terms basically would give the state the ability to create and distribute its own curriculum, making its own textbooks and pretty much just get to decide even more so what we teach, and even more micromanaging what we teach could potentially be even in factual information, because
It connects to this one.
and it connects to the 1071.
Yeah, because
South
they
Bill
control
1071.
that narrative.
So there's a few House bills and Senate bills that they've kind of lumped together. They do a lot of similar harm, unfortunately. And so one of those is House Bill 1071. The other is Senate Bill 1090. And they would strip funds from our DIE initiatives in the classroom. So divert DIE. I still die. They want us to die.
Yeah, they want public education to
GC to die. Yes. No, that's legitimately is part of it. They want to force people into privatized education, and it's just creating such a disparity. Disparity? Yes. And it's disenfranchising our small, like, public school communities, lower income communities. Like, it's
and our working families,
Our
because
working
working families do not have the time to search for a charter school, to fill in applications, and to attend all the required meetings that charter schools ask of parent involvement, and plus every other need that are not addressed at any private schools for students with IEPs and such. Okay, so it lumps in DEI, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion within the publishing. So that means that they're taking away our curriculum control. Um, yes, we teach the standards, but because we teach the standard, we have the liberty as educators and professionals to actually decide how we teach that standards to students, how we differentiate the lessons. So with this bill, you're telling me that all of that will go away, that we will have no power to decide how we teach students, how we differentiate the standard, and even what materials we give them to enrich the lessons and the standard that we're supposed to be doing.
That seems to be the intent of the bill. It's taking away that cultural backgrounds, those things that we do to connect with our students from different backgrounds, and just kind of giving us this script that we would have to follow that meets, one group of people's ideologies.
Only one.
Only one.
Yeah. So that means that if you love those scripted curriculums that we are doing to help students, then don't do anything. You're fine. You're doing great because you love those scripts and you love to read off the script and you love to assess the way that the curriculum and the script says. But if you don't love that, especially those of you who are doing it right now, then email your legislation and let them know. And again, on the notes, we will put the House bills numbers and a summary of each. Let them know that you do not want these bills to move up and to continue to get passed down, because again, they're only stripping away more of our professionalism and our education, to let us know that, okay, we know what we need to teach, we know our students, and we know how to make those connections to them.
It gets even worse with that set of bills.
Yes. So this is Senate Bill 1632 or House Bill 1471, which basically is targeting minority groups. It would establish a new position called the Chief of Domestic Security, who would have the ability to designate any organization a domestic terrorist group. Any organization. Now they claim, oh, well, they have to be doing something criminal or something that could be harmful, but in the language that the bill states, it is extremely vague, where they basically could just say, oh, well, these people are coercing the government to make a decision. So basically, it's also targeting unions, because what do? We advocate for ourselves, which could be considered coercion for us to have better benefits, better pay. And it could potentially also affect all of our other public service workers, like we mentioned before. Our student groups, our civil rights activist groups.
But even our First Amendment rights is violated within that, because me advocating for myself or me advocating for my fellow groups of educators, how is that domestic terrorism?
If you want to hear something really great, or like a really great response to this bill, Senator or not Senator, Representative Rainey, she was like very vocal and adamantly against this. And she actually had her PR people pull what she said and post it. So I will put that in the links as well, because if you're a union person, let's be honest, if you're a person and you had half a heart, you need to hear what she says.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great information to have. Wow. Okay. Keep going because it's just getting better and better. Uh
It's hard. It's hard. It was really those are some of the main bills we're keeping an eye on. There's a lot more, but those are the ones that seem the most detrimental that are in the zeitgeist right now. And while it was disheartening to see so many of our elected officials voting yes on these, it was hopeful to see that every other constituent in that room, pretty much, maybe one or two people actually supported them. Every other person to get up and speak was against these bills. And we didn't have just educators. We had linemen, we had some bus drivers, some paras, some students, and some cafeteria workers, groups from around our state, our equality. Florida was there. So many groups that are standing up for us as a mixture of people. What our country stands for is that melting pot.
yes.
And that was hopeful to see.
Great. Well, stay in touch with us. Follow us on our social media, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You could also listen to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Look at the links, click on them. Read up on the bills. If you don't believe that what we are understanding from the language is accurate, read it yourself and get a grip of what they are really looking to do, and contact your legislator, contact your senator, contact your representative, email them and tell them your story of how these potential bills will impact public education and the work that you do within public education and the public workforce. Stay tuned and we will update you as we are getting updates on where these bills are at in the process. So thank you so much for joining us and we'll see you next time. Bye.
I don't know. I'm so off the